Hey, what's up, everybody? Prince of Highway 50 here. Currently, we're on Highway 88 by the in California, in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. As you can see, California is on fire again. This time it's pretty bad. California, at least the northern part, or most of it, is completely engulfed in smoke. You can't escape it anywhere you go. I went to San Francisco the other day, engulfed in smoke. It was horrible. It was really hot. You're driving around the city. It's like 88, but feels like it's 100. It's horrible. Now I'm up here, and it still feels awful. As far as the West Coast is I'm concerned, because I also live in Nevada, and Nevada is also engulfed in smoke from California, but it's even worse because it just stays there. It blows in from California and it just stays in Nevada. I'm on my way to Nevada now, so I'll kind of let you in on what that kind of feels like. But also during this timeline, a hurricane is coming to Alabama, which I'm actually on my way to. It's going to hit New Orleans and swoop up in the Alabama. So hopefully later on in the upcoming days we'll take a look at that as well. So as California is completely engulfed in smoke and flames, Alabama and the South is going to be completely drenched in hell of wind and water. So we'll see how that's going to go. So last shot I didn't quite give what I was talking about justice. If I was able to zoom in, there's a lot more destruction and just smoke, and it's quite apocalyptic, to be quite honest. Here we are driving. It's kind of scary because it's daytime. Everything is just under a huge blanket of smoke. It's really eerie. It's really scary. Really unpleasant. My eyes hurt. I want to thank the firefighters that are out here. This is scary. Okay, how about this helps probably put things in a little bit more perspective. Yeah, it's really smoky. Can't even see the sun. The sun's up there, you can't even see it. It's insane. You know that thing where it's like if you smoke one cigarette, you lose 30 minutes of your life? I think I've knocked off a whole day just by being in this area. It's really apocalyptic. It's horrible. I'll show you Nevada. We are not in Nevada. We are in Utah. Drove through Carson City, Minden, Gardnerville. I'm probably Reno as well. They are all pretty bad. It looks horrible. Completely covered in smoke. It was that same kind of feeling all the way through Nevada as well, even when I hit Utah. Now it's really gray and a hot, it's really gray. The air conditions aren't that great here. I don't know if it's directly because of, the California wildfires or the fact that it's a desert. I just kind of wanted to show you that, from San Francisco, the Salt Lake, and even a little bit past, even the Moab, Utah, it's pretty crappy all the way around. So as we speak, the Hurricane Ida just touched down in New Orleans. So make sure and pray for them, and I'll see you in Alabama. Hey everybody, how's it going? Made it to Alabama. Here, take a look. I made it to Alabama. currently in Birmingham. It's kind of funny to go to a place with the opposite problem, where in the West Coast there's like absolutely no moisture and everything's on fire, and then you go to the Southeast and everything's wet. They have too much moisture because of the hurricane. It's great to be here. It's nice to have a break from the West Coast. When I was coming in, I drove through the winter storm, or the hurricane itself. I didn't take any footage. And it started raining again. Good old Alabama. Safe in the sanctuary in my hotel room. Hey everybody, how's it going? So right here I'm kind of going to give a conclusion on compare and contrast on what disaster is going on, what I experienced on the West Coast and the East Coast. To be completely honest with you, by the way, I hope that you can hear me. I don't have a mic with me, so I'll try to fix this in editing, but I hope that I'm speaking at an acceptable volume. When I headed out here to the East Coast, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I knew I was going from the West Coast disaster zone, where there's California fires, to the East Coast, where Hurricane Ida was coming through. I know that I showed you guys that kind of quick like comparison of what I saw driving through the hurricane or storm from Missouri in the Alabama, kind of up there. People were coming. Sorry about that. People were approaching. I'm not used to filming in front of people, so I had to cut the video. But how about this? I don't want to face the camera at me the whole entire time. I know I'm very pretty, but how about this? Let's go on a hike together, and you just kind of hear me talk or speak my mind about what I've came to the conclusion of what the purpose of me coming back east is about. So here we are, we're going on a hike together. So what I kind of realized, like as I was saying, I wasn't quite sure what my purpose was for coming back out east. But then kind of when I got here, I understood and had some time to reflect. I understood what my purpose was. You know, in the beginning of coming back out east, or at least and this is kind of like, I guess, a good compare and contrast, because this is basically what this video is about. Now this is kind of a different compare and contrast of what I was going to say, but still a compare and contrast nonetheless. So, but when I was back out west, all I knew I wanted to do was get away. What I thought would be kind of cool is because I knew I was kind of going from the disaster zone, from the California fires, into the disaster zone of Hurricane Ida. And what I wanted to do is I thought I wanted to kind of document what was happening in California, and then while I was back east, document Hurricane Ida in kind of like the southern area. I know I told you that let's go check out Mississippi, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I don't want to capitalize on other people's suffering at all. That would not be very good in my heart for me to do that. So that's not what I'm going to do. But after kind of, you know, staying dry from the rain in my hotel room, kind of resting up a bit, kind of calming down from the 3 days of non-stop driving I kind of collected my thoughts, and after going to Vulcan Tower, and actually on this hike really, I kind of realized why I came out east. So in kind of conclusion, back out in the west, just to kind of give you an idea of what my mindset was before I headed out east. So it's not good. So back out west, you know, life isn't really great at the moment. Oh, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Still uncomfortable filming around people. So as I was saying, back out west in my personal life, it basically my grandma and my dad passed away within the same year. It was very traumatic for me because those were two figures that were like pinnacles to like what I thought was a healthy life. They kind of helped me get through life and stay sane, and to have those people gone out of my life really put me in a space in my mind where, you know, life is crap and there's nothing you can really do about it. And on top of that, you know, I am going on I do have health issues. I'm working on getting those resolved. It's just, you know, they always like to drag things out, so I'm just kind of waiting. You know, there's positives that came out of these things, but my mind was very focused on the negative. And on top of that, you know, kind of having the California fires happening, in the drought. So basically in the West, you know, the California fires are basically a side effect on what the real problem is. And what the real problem is that there's not enough water. It was exactly the opposite problem what, you know, we're experiencing in the United States in the East, where there's too much water. So basically what's going on in California is that, you know, the fires are kind of happening because, you know, both California and Nevada, respectively, and probably Oregon as well, or Eastern Oregon, is going through a drought. And it's a pretty severe one too. The news is kind of saying, you know, I was born in 1997, but the news is kind of saying that it's a worse drought than what it was in the 1970s. And you know, California and Nevada have always been in a drought respectively, since my conception. But you know, it hasn't been this bad, I guess you could say, for a very, very long time. So in the news and everything, there's kind of a constant attitude where, you know, life is crap and there's nothing you can really do about it. But not just that, but it's just going to get worse. The atmosphere is very irritating. It's almost like a very hopeless situation. And that's kind of the attitude. And if you read the air in the West Coast and also what's going on in my personal life, that's very much the attitude on like what life is currently like out there. And so when I headed back east, to kind of go into the hurricane, and it kind of put me out in my comfort zone because I've never been in a hurricane before. I'm sure I told you already, but I was honestly kind of scared and I was kind of terrified driving through it in like Mississippi and Alabama, because I was driving through it at night, just pouring down rain. And I was honestly pretty terrified because I was like, it's all going to be better when the sun comes out, because I was expecting, you know, around like 6:30 of me driving through midnight that the sun was going to come out and everything was going to be better. Well, that was kind of not what happened. I got more scared when I realized that, oh, the sun is not going to come out, so it's just going to be like this for a while, which it was. It was just kind of gloomy for about 2 days afterwards as the storm passed. As much as I wanted to film it, I didn't feel comfortable getting outside in my truck to film it. I just kind of wanted to drive right through it and get right to my hotel, which, you know, I probably should have. That should have been what I wanted to do, and I don't blame myself for doing it. But as you can see, I kind of experienced to you what I saw in the last segment if you've never been in a hurricane before. So as what I was saying was like that kind of put me out of, you know, what I was kind of my mental I guess, paradigm, I guess you could say. Whereas it brought me out of my mental comfort zone. And you know, I thought that was really good because it kind of allowed me to reflect and most importantly experience other people's problems. Because over here, you know, the problem is that there's too much water, but also there's a collective mentality, not just in New Orleans, but I guess like across the southern East Coast, where it's, you know, we've been through this before. It's going to be terrible as it's happening, but life is going to get better. Whereas complete opposite of what the West Coast is kind of their narrative, which I thought was something I really needed to hear. Because in the East, there's a collective mentality of where, you know, it's going to be horrible. Some people may die, property is going to get damaged, but we're all going to get through this together. And we've been through this before, so it's like, it's not anything new. It's like, it's kind of like a mantra of, this shall pass. Was it really something I really needed to hear? So I'm very grateful that I headed out east. I think that's something that I really needed to experience, was like a different mantra of life and a different way of thinking, where it was, you know, this too shall pass. Plus it was honestly just really nice to be in the rain. I can't even tell you the last time I've seen rain, and when it did rain, it was not for a very long time. Some people in the East might be saying, oh, you lucky bastard, but it was nice to be in the rain. To kind of have that next level of thinking. So, and that's kind of what I realized what this trip was really about. It was kind of, I guess you could say, documenting more or less the disaster that was happening in America at the same time in different parts of the world, as far as the United States goes. But I think the most important part was kind of, you know, kind of putting myself in other people's shoes and kind of bringing myself out of my way of thinking, where it's like, you know, life sucks, but it's going to get better. You know, this too shall pass. And so I'm really grateful to be out here in the Red Mountains. I'm very grateful to be out here in Birmingham, because being out here, I felt inspired. I kind of looked into the history of Birmingham, which I'm going to do a separate video about. But overall, I'm really grateful to be out here and to kind of like bring me out of my, what I thought was perpetual suffering that I just couldn't escape. So anyway, I thought you find inspiration from this video, so you know, you kind of live vicariously through my inspiration, I guess you could say. So yeah, please like, subscribe, comment if anything resonated with you. Please go ahead in the comment section. Please like the video, and please subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Quick shout out to Eagle Scout Patrick Harris from Troop 97 for installing these steps for his Eagle Scout project, because without him I probably would have fallen on my ass. If you guys aren't aware about Eagle Scout projects, is that these you have to complete to get your Eagle, and they have to be done individually, I mean, or by yourself. So thank you, Eagle Scout Patrick Harris. I don't have my Eagle, but I wish I did.